Hi, I'm Sean Bridgman, and stay tuned for Horses and Courses.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Horses and Courses. I'm Jean Wood. We have a lot of stakes racing action to bring to you from around the country, and we're going to get things kicked off in Chicago at Arlington Park, where on Saturday they run the Grade 3 Pucker Up Handicap for 3-year-old fillies on the turf at 1 1/8. The purse $175,000. Let's head to Arlington in the running of the Pucker Up.
Ready. Away and running in the Pucker Up Stakes, and Cerie Marais reared in the air at the start. A costly break for Cerie Marais. Here's Hope Buzzard, and Gary Stevens takes Cat's Cat out to the front along with Hope Buzzard, and Hail Hillary right there on the outside. Sue's Good News fourth toward the rail, with Plume Rouge right there running in fifth. With Certainty is sixth now as they make their way into the first turn. Outside her is Meet Me at Midnight. Odd is ground saving, then it's Keeping the Gold. Farther back is Cerie Marais. She was off last, and she tries to pursue getting ground inside of Odd. Then it's Julie's Prize, and Aknasheen is racing 12th and last. 23 and 4 the opening quarter. Cat's Cat in front of Hail Hillary, and favored Hope Buzzard just in back of Cat's Cat. Declan McDonough has Plume Rouge close on the outside of the black cap. Meet Me at Midnight is next in fifth. Sue's Good News settled sixth at the rail. Six in the front with 4 furlongs to go. Then comes With Certainty, followed by Cerie Marais. Odd is 2 off the rail, Keeping the Gold. Farther back in the field is Julie's Prize and Aknasheen joint last. The half in 48 and 3. Yielding ground this at Arlington Park at the start of the far turn. Hail Hillary, the first to take a run now at Cat's Cat. Hail Hillary and Cat's Cat quicken up toward the quarter pole. And Plume Rouge is right there within range. Plume Rouge is coming now. Gary Stevens and Hope Buzzard just in back of the front. Meet Me at Midnight puts the whip. And Sue's Good News, Tim Ducey now steers her out into the center of the course for some space. They're coming down toward the final furlong. Toward the rail, Cat's Cat, Hail Hillary, Hope Buzzard in back of these fillies. Plume Rouge being driven. Here's Odd and Brian Peck Keeping the Gold. They're coming down toward the wire. It is Odd and Brian Peck. It is Odd's Pucker Up Stakes. Odd is won by 2. Hail Hillary in a close place photo there along with Julie's Prize. Looks like Hope Buzzard might have run fourth there in that photo along with Keeping the Gold and the weakening Plume Rouge in 1:49 flat.
Returning off of a disappointing off-the-board finish in Saratoga, and the Lake George Odd runs them down late by 1 3/4 lengths at 15-1, showing no speed, angled out and driving to victory over Hail Hillary, with Julie's Prize also rallying from well back at 54-1 as it was double-digit odds in the top 3 spots. The favorite finishing off the board, Hope Buzzard, who did show some speed in the early going, but faded back to 4th, setting up for long shots in the top 3 positions on the yielding turf course. The winner, Odd, is a dark bay or brown 3-year-old daughter of Wild Again from Gale's Brush by Broad Brush. She was bred in Kentucky by the Wilmot Stable, owned by Wilmot Stable, and trained by Anthony Reinstedler, ridden to victory by Brian Peck. Odd covers the 1 1/8 on the yielding surface in 1:49 flat. We're going to continue with stakes racing action, this time north of the border, heading to Woodbine for a trio of stakes races on Sunday's cards, starting with the Summer Stakes, a Canadian Grade 3 for 2-year-olds going a flat mile on turf. Let's head to Canada and the running of the Summer Stakes.
They're off in the Summer Stakes. Victory Light, and now Bachelor Blues is flashing early speed. Victory Light is second. Commendation. Spider Canyon is in between horses, along with Bo Muddy making up some ground at the hedge as the Chestnut Colt Grand Heritage as they continue that journey along the backstretch. And the gray Bachelor Blues under a tight hold leads at 3/4 of a length to Grand Heritage. Bo Muddy between horses. Spider Canyon's out there 3 wide. Victory Light on the extreme outside. Dynafire bottled up inside. To the outside is Zacosity, then Commendation. Go Kitty Go has 1 2-year-old beaten. That's the filly America America as they sweep into the far turn, chasing Bachelor Blues, who leads by 2. It's Bachelor Blues through an opening half mile in 46-1. Bo Muddy is second. Grand Heritage to the inside third. Victory Light is fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Commendation starts to gain ground in between horses. Spider Canyon tails off. America from the back of the pack. They come to the top of the stretch. Cable takes a peek back. Bachelor Blues at the quarter pole in the Summer Stakes. Beaumuddy on the outside, Grand Heritage, Commendation to the inside, Victory Light on the far outside. But it is Bachelor Blues who has the lead as they come to the final 16th. Bachelor Blues leads by 3, dropping inside is Victory Light. Final 70 yards, Bachelor Blues, Victory Light, Bachelor Blues, and Victory Light in a photo to win in the Summer Stakes. Commendation was third.
Bachelor Blues, Todd Cable beginning a very nice afternoon in stakes company, 12.5 to 1 and showing very good speed. They had actually planned on settling this horse back when he got out of the gate in good order. They allowed him to go on and it worked to perfection, holding off Victory Light by a neck. Commendation crossed the finish line in the third spot, but did cause interference. He had interfered with Zacosity early on in the race, was disqualified. Commendation was disqualified and placed last, and America moved up to third. This is a filly. Only filly in the race. She had actually contested last weekend's Philly Stakes race on the turf. The Natalma returned here off a week layoff and ran very well after a difficult start, breaking outwards and rallying 8 wide into the 4th spot before moving up into 3rd on the DQ. The winner, Bachelor Blues, is a 2-year-old Gray-Aroan son of Smoke Glacken from Wedding Day Blues by El Prado. Bred in Kentucky by William Chatine, owned by his breeder and trained by Josie Carroll, ridden to victory by Todd Cable. Bachelor Blues covers the flat mile of the Summer Stakes on the firm turf course in 1:34 and 4. We're going to head right back to Canada next for the Canadian Stakes, a Grade 2 event for fillies and mares, 3 and up, going a mile and an eighth on the turf. Let's head back to Woodbine in the running of the Canadian.
They're at the post. They're off in the Canadian Stakes. From the outside, Inish Glora broke alertly. Coming on now is first quarter toward the hedge, and to her inside the Oaks winner, Ginger Gold. First quarter to Ginger Gold. Inish Glora's third. Volga's a reserved fourth. Hold to Ransom. Clear of trouble on the outside. 4 lengths off the lead. Diadella's in amongst horses. Down at the hedge is Long Shot Byzantine. Lady of the Future trails just 4.5 lengths off the lead, though. Tight group as they move along the backstretch. Ginger Gold leads it by a neck. First quarter tracks in second. Inish Glora's to her outside third. Byzantine nestled in behind runners. Volga's in amongst horses, back 4 lengths off the lead. To the outside is Hold to Ransom, also 4 lengths off the lead. Diadella now is second to last, and Lady of the Future trails. And they sweep into the far turn. First quarter on the outside, Ginger Gold on the inside, through a 47-second flat half mile. Inish Glora's right there in third, just 3/4 of a length off the lead. Hold to Ransom is a close up fourth. Byzantine has got a perfect trip, but has a wall of horses in front of her as they come to the head of the stretch. Inish Glora glides up on the outside of Ginger Gold. First quarter tries to stay with the leaders. Hold to Ransom is on the far outside. Volga finds some running room, is set down by Corey Nakatani, and it's Inish Glora. But here comes Volga to her flank. Inish Glora's put the pressure. Volga in a full-out drive. Diadella tries to close for Jose Santos. They come to the 16th pole. Inish Glora on the inside. Outside is Volga, and Cable's going to win another stake. He wins the Canadian with Inish Glora by 2. Finishing second, Volga. Diadella was third.
Ridden to victory by Todd Cable, Inish Glora sits 3 wide just off the early fractions and runs them down late, a length and 3/4 over Volga. Neither of the top 2 finishers wanting to change their leads late, both of them bearing in just a little bit, but Inish Glora holding clear. Diadella rallies up into the 3rd spot from well back. She ran mid-pack throughout the early part of the race. The winner, Inish Glora, is a 5-year-old bay mare, a daughter of Regal Classic, from Starguest by Assert. She was bred in Ontario by C.G. Scott DVM, owned by Robert Costigan and trained by McDonald Benson. Ridden to victory by Todd Cable, the Canadian, run at the about distance of a mile and an eighth on the turf course, run in 1:44 and 2. We're going to head right back to Toronto, Canada, and take a look at the running of the Grade 1 Atto Mile, a flat mile on the turf, $1 million on offer for 3-year-olds and up. Let's head back to Toronto and the running of the Atto.
They're off in the Atto Mile. Soaring free like a bullet for the early lead. Wake at Noon, the mare Chopanina. Numerous times up close early. Wando is just to the inside of numerous times. Then Tap the Admiral. Seraphan is toward the rail. Moonshine hauls back 7 lengths off the lead. Then a Touch of the Blues. Free for Internet has 1 horse beaten. That is Perfect Soul. And Wake at Noon is on a mission here. The opening quarter in 22 and 4. Here comes the mare Chopanina to press last year's Canadian Horse of the Year. Wake at Noon by a neck. Chopanina's second. Wando's nestled in behind horses. Soaring Free is to the outside. Numerous times is 5th, 3 lengths off the lead. Seraphan is toward the rail. Tap the Admiral's in between horses, 4 lengths off the lead. The opening half mile in 45 and 1. Then a Touch of the Blues. They near the 3/8 pole. Chopanina has overtaken Wake at Noon. Wake at Noon's coming back though. Chopanina, Wake at Noon. Wando still in behind horses. Seraphan needs running room. Soaring Free is on the outside. Wando, nice between horses as they come to the quarter pole. And Wando catapults off the turn. Soaring Free is going to run with Wando. Soaring Free on the outside, Wando on the inside. Trying to close the doors is Touch of the Blues. They're in the final furlong. Soaring Free, a narrow lead. Touch of the Blues, DeSormo's all over him. On the outside, Touch of the Blues. Inside, Soaring Free. Touch of the Blues, a dazzling effort to win the Atto Mile. Soaring Free was second. It was tight for show between Perfect Soul and Wando.
Touch of the Blues and Kent DeSormo. This is a horse that has run some awfully good races in his career, although has been a bit inconsistent last time out. However, set a new course record at Del Mar in the Wicker, winning by a nose. This time steps back up to Grade 1 company and picks up a victory by a half a length over Soaring Free. Perfect Soul rallies from way back off the pace, taking advantage of the brisk pace up front. To finish in the 3rd spot, Wando, the Canadian Triple Crown winner, who is dropping back from a distance of ground on the turf, distance races on both dirt and turf, now trying a mile on the turf. Not a bad effort at all. Showed good speed, was close to the pace, forcing the pace early. Did come through to get the lead at the top of the stretch, although he was run down late. He certainly held on quite nicely. We'll have to see what they decide to do with Wando if the Breeders' Cup Mile is still on their dance card. The winner, Touch of the Blues, is a 6-year-old bay horse, a son of Cadeau General from Cilibatini by Nureyev, bred in France by Gainsborough Stud Management, owned by Gainsborough and trained by Neil Drysdale. Ridden to victory by Kent DeSormo, Touch of the Blues covers the flat mile on the firm turf course in 1:33 and 1. We're going to pause now for a brief message, and when we return, we'll be taking a look at Turfway Park's Kentucky Cup Day. Please stay with us.
This year, many thoroughbreds, no longer able to compete, will join the ranks of racing's homeless. Since 1982, the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation and its supporters have been providing help and hope for those in need. Creating opportunities where once there were none, the TRF, together with the racing industry, is meeting the challenge, taking care of their own. Yesterday's innovative concepts, combining the TRF's rescue mission with educational and rehabilitation goals, have become today's life-saving success stories and a track record of unsurpassed growth. Safely retired thoroughbreds are now enjoying second careers, bringing responsibility, healing, and purpose to the lives of those who need it most. With your help, we can continue our saving mission, ensuring many more horses the welcome home they so richly deserve.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to continue with stakes racing action at Turfway Park, where they ran the Kentucky Cup on Saturday. A lot of big stakes down there and an interesting card. A lot of good juveniles and a couple of familiar faces from Kentucky, several Saratoga shippers as well. We're going to start things out with the Kentucky Cup Juvenile Fillies. $100,000 flat mile for 2-year-old fillies. Let's head down to Turfway in the running of the Juvenile Fillies.
They're at the post. And they're off. Renaissance Lady breaks sharply with Sweet JoJo on the inside. Up on the outside, Class Above. Through from the rail, Cedar Summer and Scottish Mist. Well bunched into the first turn. Now it's Scottish Mist who moves through, gets a short lead. Renaissance Lady is second. Then from the outside, Class Above takes third by a head. Cedar Summer fourth, Sweet JoJo fifth. It's a length to Poets and Angels. Then Miss Ooh La La. All-American Beauty trails 23-1 for the opening quarter. Scottish Mist is in front by a length. Renaissance Lady second ahead. Class Above runs third. Poets and Angels is fourth. Sweet JoJo is fifth. Down the backstretch now, Class Above is gaining ground. Up on the outside, the inside, Scottish Mist. Those two together, and Renaissance Lady right between those two. Poets and Angels takes fourth. Then down along the rail, Sweet JoJo is fifth. All-American Beauty is next, followed by Miss Ooh La La and Cedar Summer. They're into the turn. Class Above got the half in 47-3 and just draws away. Class Above has opened the lead out to 7 lengths. Moving to the outside now, that's Sweet JoJo who takes second. Down along the inside, Renaissance Lady is third. Then up from the outside, All-American Beauty and Miss Ooh La La, but it's Class Above, definitely the class in here. Class Above just draws off. She wins by 15, maybe more. Renaissance Lady second, Sweet JoJo third.
Class Above, I think it's fair to say, the easiest kind of winner here. Romping, it was an official 16-length victory at odds-on. Class Above coming in out of a very impressive maiden win at Del Mar, shipping into town for Padua Stable and Bob Baffert to pick up all the money here. Edgar Prado down from New York for a couple of mounts on the card, and this one simply the easiest of winners over Renaissance Lady, who did run a much improved effort off of some of her recent starts. Sweet JoJo picking up the third spot, always within striking distance, obviously no match for the winner. The winner, Class Above, a dark bay or brown 2-year-old daughter of Quiet American from Rainbow Promise by Known Fact, was bred in Kentucky by Michael Marenchik, owned by Padua Stable and trained by Bob Baffert, ridden to victory by Edgar Prado. According to Bob Baffert, the winner here, Class Above, is eventually going to make the Breeders' Cup. Hopefully that is their goal. Whether or not she'll have a start in the interim has not yet been determined. They are going to head her back to California to make up a decision on a possible next start, but Class Above has already obviously established herself as a very talented young 2-year-old filly, ridden to victory by Edgar Prado. Class Above covers the flat mile, the Kentucky Cup Juvenile fillies in 1:39 even. We're going to continue with stakes racing action at Turfway with the Kentucky Cup Juvenile, a Grade 3 $100,000 mile and a 16th. Let's head back to Turfway and the Kentucky Cup Juvenile.
Into the stretch run and guided to the far outside. Wrinkle Hanover strikes the lead.
And they're off.
Wrinkle Hanover takes
Cliff's Edge was off slowly, actually broke in the air and is dead last for the lead from between horses. That is busting out. Pomeroy down along the inside runs second. Golden Tones is now third. Then up on the outside, Bogangles runs a fourth. It's a gap of 2 to Mr. Jester. Then Ravidon, the Cliff's Edge and Proper Prado is the early trailer. 23-1 for the opening quarter. Busting out is in front by 3. Pomeroy is second. Then it's a gap of 2.5. Bogangles third ahead. Golden Tones is a fourth by 5 lengths. Mr. Jester runs fifth, followed by the Cliff's Edge. Then Ravidon and Proper Prado. They got the half in 47 seconds flat. Busting out. Now Pomeroy gains ground. Also gaining ground on the outside, the Cliff's Edge, followed by Mr. Jester. They're in the turn and Pomeroy gets the lead. Busting out is still second. The Cliff's Edge runs third by a length. Mr. Jester is fourth. 3 lengths back to Bogangles in fifth. Moving for the stretch, Pomeroy with the lead. Still there by a length and a half. The Cliff's Edge takes second. Down along the inside, busting out, runs third. Here comes Proper Prado. Now on the extreme outside, Proper Prado moves into third, but it's still Pomeroy in front. The Cliff's Edge, Proper Prado, Mr. Jester comes back on. It's Pomeroy in front. Mr. Jester is gaining ground down along the rail. Pomeroy and Mr. Jester in a photo finish.
Mr. Jester getting the victory here on the disqualification of Pomeroy. It was a head bob for the victory. It was Pomeroy's nose on the wire with who else? Edgar Prado down for a couple of rides, including this one, a horse that he had ridden in New York very impressively earlier on this season. Coming in here off of a second-place finish to Cuvée. He was the favorite. Unfortunately, he ended up with a disqualification after interfering with the Cliff's Edge, who ended up being moved up into the second spot on the DQ. Pomeroy placed third. The winner now, Mr. Jester, a bit of a long shot in here, coming in here from off of a little bit lesser, running against a little bit lesser company, but showed that he belongs with these with a solid middle move to just miss at the wire and get the official on the DQ under Rafael Bejarano. The Cliff's Edge, off a maiden win at Saratoga, moved up into the second spot. The winner, Mr. Jester, is a 2-year-old son of Silver Deputy from Future Pretense by Fabiano, bred in Kentucky by G. Watts Humphrey, owned by Karen Biggs and trained by Steve Wren, ridden to victory by Rafael Bejarano. Mr. Jester covers the mile in the 16th in the Kentucky Cup Juvenile in 1:46 and 3. Next, we're going to continue with stakes racing action at Turfway with the Kentucky Cup Classic. Grade 2, $200,000 mile and an eighth for older horses. Let's head back to Kentucky and the running of the Kentucky Cup Classic.
And they're off. Congaree stumbled a bit leaving the gate, but still makes the lead on the outside through from the inside. Crafty Shaw. Perfect drift between those two. Then it's Even the Score and NBC, the early trailer, as they move for the first turn. It's Congaree on the outside in front. Under a tight hold, still leads at a half length. Down along the rail, Crafty Shaw. 2 lengths back to Perfect Drift, then Even the Score and NBC trails. 24-1, a slow opening quarter. Congaree the leader. Has it by a half length. Down along the inside, Crafty Shaw second. 2 back to Perfect Drift, then 4 more back to Even the Score and NBC. Continuing down the back stretch, and Congaree now opens the lead out to a length. Still Crafty Shaw second ahead. Perfect Drift moves closer up on the outside. Then a gap of 4 back to Even the Score and NBC. As they move down the back stretch, the half and 48-1. Congaree under a tight hold still has the lead. Now Perfect Drift going after him on the outside. Crafty Shaw is next, then Even the Score and NBC. They're into the turn. Congaree by a head. Perfect Drift on the outside. Crafty Shaw has dropped back. Even the Score moves up and NBC trails. As they move for the stretch, it's Congaree and Perfect Drift. These two hook up into the stretch. Then up on the outside, that's Even the Score. Congaree still with the head in front. Perfect Drift on the outside. Now Perfect Drift gets the lead. Perfect Drift under Pat Day begins to draw off from Congaree. Perfect Drift beats Congaree by a length. On the inside, Crafty Shaw is third, but Perfect Drift wins the Classic over a game Congaree.
Perfect Drift with ears pricked forward through much of the stretch drive under a hand ride, picking up the win over Congaree, who was right there on top of the pace every step of the way. Did have Crafty Shaw pressing a little bit in the early going, but nice effort by Perfect Drift, who has been a different horse since the rider switched to Pat Day, who seems to suit him very nicely. Not too far off the pace. He used to be a one-pace closer here, sitting a perfect stalking trip and under hand urging past Congaree in the shadow of the wire by about a length with Crafty Shaw back in the third spot. The winner, Perfect Drift, is a 4-year-old bay gelding, a son of Dynaformer from Nice Gal by NASCRA. He was bred in Kentucky by Dr. William Reed and Stonecrest Farm, owned by Stonecrest and trained by Murray Johnson, ridden to victory by Pat Day. Perfect Drift covers the mile and an eighth of the Kentucky Cup Classic in 1:50 and 2. We're going to continue with the Kentucky Cup Day with Turfway Breeders' Cup Stakes, a Grade 3 $175,000 mile and a 16th for fillies and mares. Let's head back to Kentucky in the Turfway Breeders' Cup.
So that's 9, 8, 3 and all, 76.
And they're off.
$32.
Country Romance breaks sharply for the lead. Down along the inside, Awesome Humor. Up on the outside, that's So Much More. Followed by Smokin' Frolic. Then Red and Gold as they move into the first turn. The leader is Country Romance by a half length. Up on the outside, So Much More second. Smokin' Frolic takes third. Awesome Humor is fourth, a length. Red and Gold fifth by a head. Wins Fair Lady runs sixth. 2.5 to Reason to Talk seventh. Then it's High Tech Honeycomb. The trailer, Barney's Mistress. 24 flat for the opening quarter. Smokin' Frolic is now gaining ground on the outside. She moves by and gets a short lead. Country Romance is second ahead. So Much More is third by a length. Wins Fair Lady runs fourth. Awesome Humor is now fifth, followed by Red and Gold in sixth. Then it's a length back to High Tech Honeycomb. Reason to Talk and a big gap to Barney's Mistress. As they move into the turn, Smokin' Frolic in front, now by a length. Down along the inside, Country Romance is second. Now moving to the extreme outside, Awesome Humor is gaining ground in third. Wins Fair Lady fourth. It's Smokin' Frolic in front, now by 2.5. Awesome Humor up on the outside runs second. Then Country Romance up on the outside, So Much More. They're nearing the wire. Smokin' Frolic now draws away from Awesome Humor. Smokin' Frolic wins it by 4 over Awesome Humor. Then it's So Much More, followed by High Tech Honeycomb.
Smokin' Frolic and who else? Edgar Prado getting the victory here. First win in breaking a 5-race losing streak. Has not picked up a victory since the Sunshine Millions back in January, but has been in some pretty good company. Disappointed last time when never getting into the game at all in the Grade 1 Ballerina Sprinting. Here stretches out nicely, showing good speed, prompting the early pace and winning off by 3.5 from Awesome Humor. A 3-year-old coming in here looking for a little bit of redemption with So Much More, picking up the third spot after pressing the pace in the early going. A speed continued to hold very nicely in the Turfway Breeders' Cup. The winner, Smokin' Frolic, is a 4-year-old gray or roan daughter of Smoke Glacken from Cherokee. Frolic Flash by Green Dancer. Bred in Florida by the Cherokee Farm. She's owned by Dogwood Stable and trained by Todd Pletcher. Ridden to victory by Edgar Prado. Smokin' Frolic covers the mile in the 16th at Turfway in 1:44 and 4. We're going to continue with stakes racing action in the Kentucky Cup with the Kentucky Cup Sprint for 3-year-olds, a Grade 3 $100,000 6-furlong dash. Let's head back to Turfway and the running of the Kentucky Cup Sprint.
And they're off. For the lead from the inside, that's Cat Genius and Cajun Beat. Down along the rail, 15 rounds. Then up from the outside, Skeet. Down the back stretch, the leader, Cat Genius, by a half length. On the outside, Cajun Beat is second. Then it's a length to Skeet, who runs a third. Gaining ground up on the outside, Champ Ali fourth ahead. Goldstorm now runs fifth. 5 lengths back, Awfully Wild moves up in sixth. Then it's 15 rounds. Gaining ground up on the outside, Clock Stopper is next. They got the quarter in 21 and 2. Blazing opening quarter. Now on the outside, Cajun Beat with the head in front. Still down along the inside, Cat Genius, they're together. Skeet on the outside runs a third. Now gaining ground, Champ Ali. Gaining ground, Clock Stopper also between horses. It's Cajun Beat with Clock Stopper. Champ Ali is third. Cajun Beat in front. Clock Stopper gains ground. Cajun Beat wins it by a half length over Clock Stopper. Champ Ali in a photo for fourth.
Cajun Beat and Cornelio Velasquez back down to Kentucky for the afternoon and picking up a 7-1 victory here. 3/4 of a length over the late charging Clock Stopper with the favorite Champ Ali back in the third spot after running a mid-pack effort here. Fairly forwardly placed, did end up finding himself 6 wide heading into the stretch. The winner, however, Cajun Beat, a dark bay or brown 3-year-old gelding, is the son of Grand Slam from Becky's Shirt by Cure the Blues. He was bred in Kentucky by John T.L. Jones Jr. and H. Smoot Falgren, owned by Padua Stable and trained by Steve Margolis, ridden to victory by Cornelio Velasquez. Cajun Beat, who may now find himself on the Breeders' Cup Trail, covers the 6 furlongs in the Kentucky Cup Sprint in 109 and 2. We have one further race to bring to you from Del Mar. Del Mar finishing up their meet midweek last week on Wednesday with their traditional closing day stake, the Del Mar Futurity. For 2-year-olds, a grade 2, $250,000, 7 furlongs. Let's head back out to Del Mar for the running of the Futurity.
And away they go. All came out well. Gulf of Mexico wants the early lead and is sent on to lead them. On the outside we have Perfect Moon, broke fast and is right there. Down at the rails, Siphonizer, Minister Eric won from the rail, and Cooperation at the back, but only 2.5 lengths separates them all. They run to the 5/8. Gulf of Mexico in the white sleeves, a narrow leader. Minister Eric between horses and Siphonizer down at the rail. Now Cooperation has taken to the extreme outside and sent along early, is going up to put pressure on them. At the back is Perfect Moon. Half mile to go in the Futurity now, and it's still Gulf of Mexico, a narrow leader, gets pressure from Siphonizer. Cooperation on the outside of that. Minister Eric has lost a bit of ground and now having to be ridden along. Outside of him comes Perfect Moon. 3/8 of a mile to go. Gulf of Mexico, but he's got no breather out here. They keeping the pressure on every yard of the way. Siphonizer down at the rail. Cooperation on the outside of that. Perfect Moon tries to run on, and then Minister Eric coming to the top of the lane. This is going to be a tough one. Siphonizer's got room on the inside and goes on to lead them. Siphonizer now strikes the front. Gulf of Mexico can find no more. In the center, Cooperation is trying to re-rally, and even Minister Eric gets a second win and comes again. Siphonizer the leader. Minister Eric with a late run at him. Siphonizer to win it. Siphonizer takes the Del Mar Futurity to Minister Eric, Perfect Moon, Cooperation, and Gulf of Mexico, weekend to last.
Siphonizer and Julie Crone, who was in contention every step of the way for the championship honors out there, just failed late, but Siphonizer didn't a half a length victory here after a bit of a rough start over stablemate Minister Eric, both of them trained by Richard Mandela. Perhaps a changing of the guard here. Mr. Baffert had dominated this race for 7 years, in many cases running top 2 and even top 3 finishes, but his only entrant in here, Cooperation, ran off the board, finishing 4th after a stalking trip. Siphonizer, a very impressive 2-year-old colt out on the West Coast, picking up the win at over 5-1. Siphonizer is a dark bay or brown son of Siphon, a 2-year-old son of Siphon from The Sky's the Limit by Northern Prospect. Bred by Brereton Jones in Kentucky, he's owned by B. Wayne Hughes and trained by Richard Mandela. Ridden to victory by Julie Crone. Siphonizer covers the 7 furlongs of the Del Mar Futurity in 1 minute, 23 seconds flat. We're going to pause for one more brief message, and when we return, we'll be taking a look at the weekend's worth of stakes racing action from Belmont Park. Please stay tuned.
NYBreds.com, the online home of thoroughbred racing's best incentive program. NYBreds.com features sales and racing news, farm tours, articles by some of racing's top riders, the latest results, plus photos and streaming video of New York bred stakes races. Here comes Critical Eye, and Critical Eye has won. NYBreds.com has something for everyone. If racing is your full-time business, you want to see the leaders in both owner and breeder awards, and a list of stallion earnings courtesy of the Blood Horse. Racing fans will want to see the latest press releases from both NYRA and Finger Lakes, plus contests where you can cast your vote for New York bred divisional champions, or even name a newborn foal. Want to take your interest in racing to the next level? NYBreds.com shows how being an owner or breeder can be both fun and rewarding. Thanks to the New York Breeding and Racing Program. NYBreds.com has it all. That's NYBreds.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Horses and Courses. We're going to finish up the program with Belmont's weekend stakes racing action, and there is a lot of it. We're going to start things off with the Grade 3 Floral Park Handicap for fillies and mares, sprinting 6 furlongs, $100,000 the purse. Let's head down to Belmont and the running of the Floral Park.
And they're off. Literary Light, and there goes Forest Heiress up and after the lead. Forest Heiress, Literary Light, head-to-head in the early stages here. And the far outside, Bauhauser moving sharply up from 3rd. And Shine Again in and among horses close to the pace, running in fourth. Lila to her inside and Raging Fever to her outside. Around the far turn, it's Literary Light, Bauhauser. In between them, Forest Heiress. The three of them, a lot of speed out there. 22 seconds flat for the opening quarter. Shine Again is down on the inside of Raging Fever, and Lila's the trailer. Around the far turn, Bauhauser up for a short lead. Forest Heiress to run right with her in between horses. Down toward the inside, Literary Light is running in third. Shine Again is 3 lengths from the lead with 2 furlongs to go. Raging Fever's outside her. The field turns for home. Off a half in 45 seconds flat. Bauhauser and Richard Migliore shakes her up, and she's responding. Bauhauser opens up 2 in mid-stretch. Shine Again driving up on the outside second with Bauhauser to catch. Bauhauser driving to the 16th pole. 2-length lead. Shine Again doing her best as they come down to the line, still a length behind. Here's Bauhauser. Bauhauser wins. 3/4 of a length. Shine Again second today. Literary Light was third. The final time was 1:10.4.
Bauhauser contesting the pace 3 wide every step of the way, drawing clear. Shine Again making her usual off-the-pace rallying move, but could do no better than second, beaten 3/4 of a length. Literary Light involved in that 3-horse pace duel, holding on very nicely, moving back into stakes competition after having had a very promising early 3-year-old season. Had a little bit of problems, a couple of setbacks, but has returned with a couple of strong efforts now against very good company. The winner, however, Bauhauser, is a very impressive Crayer Roan mare. Only 3 starts here now in the United States, but all of them against good company. She is a 4-year-old daughter of Numerous from Barbalut by Relaunch. She was bred in Argentina by Los Cerros de Loma Verde, and notably this mare, she is listed, actually she's listed as a 5-year-old. She has not yet reached her 5th birthday. She was born in October of 1998 in Southern Hemisphere time. She is a 5-year-old by our American standards. She picked up a very impressive win in her first North American Stakes victory. She is owned by Heilig Broad Racing Stable and John T.L. Jones, trained by Steve Asmussen, ridden to victory by Richie Migliore. Bauhauser covers the 6 furlongs of the Floral Park in 1:10.4. Belmont Stakes racing continues with the Belmont Breeders' Cup Handicap, $200,000 mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds and up on the turf. Let's head back to New York in the running of the Belmont Breeders' Cup.
And they're off. State Shinto strikes out for the lead. Valponi will be forwardly placed today. Rouvra's right alongside Valponi moving into the turn. El Tawasul takes a tuck in behind the lead. Down on the inside, Della Francesca. Then 4 wide round the turn. Political Attack in the early stages here. Dawn of the Condor to be the early trailer. Valponi, a short lead. State Shinto right there to keep Valponi company as they make their way into the backstretch run. Corey Nakatani has a hard hold of Rouvra behind a quarter in 25 1/5 seconds. Political Attack tugs his way up into 4th. And then it's El Tawasul, 5th on the outside of Della Francesca. 3 lengths back to Dawn of the Condor, who continues to trail the field. State Shinto has taken a narrow advantage away from Valponi. State Shinto, 3/4 of a length. Valponi continues to run along with them. 5 furlongs to go here. They picked up the tempo a bit. The half went in 48 3. Rouvra still on hold, running 3rd on the inside. Political Attack racing 4th, about 4 or 5 lengths from the lead. Then El Tawasul, who's just outside Della Francesca. Dawn of the Condor trails the field. Around the far turn, and now Johnny Velasquez makes his move with Valponi, and they overpower State Shinto. But Rouvra's a threat, and Rouvra now moves to 2nd. And on the far outside, Dawn of the Condor rallying now, but he'll be spun wide. Valponi heads for home with a 2-length lead. Rouvra to the attack at the top of the stretch. Della Francesca's running in 3rd. State Shinto a weak in 4th. They're coming down to the final furlong. Valponi's in deep water here. Here comes Rouvra on the outside. Rouvra's in front. Valponi battles on gamely. And Della Francesca coming hard on the far outside. They're coming down to the finish. And it's going to be Della Francesca, a 16-1 upset to win by almost 2 lengths. Rouvra 2nd. Valponi was 3rd today.
Della Francesca runs them down late. Rated inside of horses, came out on the second turn and drew clear by a length and a half at a generous 16-1. This is a European import. He was born here in the States, spent the early portion of his career overseas, and did look to be the type of horse that would do his best running on a yielding or a softer turf course. Despite showery and cloudy overcast conditions, the turf remained firm, and Della Francesca still was able to kick clear under Georgie Chavez. Rouvra made a nice middle move to finish in the second spot as Volponi, who did take the lead from State Shinto top of the stretch, didn't have quite enough left and finished third. First time this season that he has not run second, in fact. State Shinto, who did have the early lead, looked to me at the top of the stretch like he was going to drop back, but re-rallied very nicely and ended up just missing the second spot in a fairly nice effort under Richie Migliori. The winner, however, Della Francesca, a very impressive 4-year-old colt, a son of Danzig from La Affirme by Affirmed, was bred in Pennsylvania by the Brushwood stable. Very strong female family under this horse. Wouldn't be surprised to see this horse train on very nicely into next season for Old Memorial Stable and Niall O'Callaghan. Ridden to victory by Georgie Chavez, Della Francesca covers the mile and an eighth on the firm turf in 1:47.2. Next up, the Jerome for 3-year-olds. The Jerome Handicap, a Grade 2, very historic race going back well over 130 years, $150,000 flat mile for 3-year-olds. Let's head down to Belmont and the running of the Jerome.
And they're off. And it's During who breaks alertly and is quickly in front. Distinct Vision, and here comes Pretty Wild, who's gunning for the lead, up to get it now. Pretty Wild, the leader in the first furlong. Distinct Vision is second, and During is now third. Gigawatt, fourth on the outside. Then down toward the inside, it's Tafassil, and in between those two, Roses and May, shuffled back in sixth. 2 lengths back to Inamorato, followed by Your Bluffing, and Region of Merit is the trailer. Pretty Wild pressed by Distinct Vision. They zipped through a quarter in 22 2/5 seconds. During third on the outside of Tafassil. Inamorato begins to roll now. There goes Inamorato with a bold drive up on the outside, fifth and fourth now. Inamorato draws within a length of the lead at the half-mile pole. Then Roses and May, followed by Gigawatt, Region of Merit, and Your Bluffing. The half went in 45 seconds flat. During on the far outside now, a narrow lead. Distinct Vision fights on well in between horses. Pretty Wild is now third toward the inside. Tafassil, Inamorato is now under the whip in fifth, and now the field turns for home. During a short lead, and now Jerry Bailey gets to work on Pretty Wild down toward the inside. During and Pretty Wild heads apart for the lead at the top of the stretch. Tafassil is bearing down on them from third, and they're coming down to the last furlong, and During fights his way to the lead. Tafassil a half length behind. At the inside, Pretty Wild is now third. Down to the final 16th. During still there. Tafassil, final try, coming down to the finish. During, Tafassil, here's the wire. During did it by a long neck. Tafassil was second, and Pretty Wild was third.
During earlier this season picked up the victory out in California, going 2 turns in the swamps, beating 10 Most Wanted. Now arrives back in New York for a try on the stretch out here from 7 to a mile, and picks up a nice victory, close to the pace every step of the way. Tafassil looked like he may have been getting to him late, but was not quite able to catch him. Pretty Wild shows very good speed. Broke a little bit flat-footed, hustled up inside, held on for third after a little bit of a troubled trip under Jerry Bailey. Nonetheless, a nice effort returning to stakes company for Pretty Wild, with only a Saratoga allowance victory to his credit this season. The winner, During, is a 3-year-old dark bay or brown son of Cherokee Run from Blading's Saddle by Blade, bred in Kentucky by Gulf States Racing, the second, and owned by Jim McIngvale, trained by Bob Baffert, and ridden to victory by Jose Santos. During covers the flat mile of the Jerome in 1:36.1. We're going to head back to Belmont now for the running of the Ruffian for 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares, going a mile and a 16th, $300,000. Let's head back down to New York and take a look at the running of the Ruffian.
And they're off. Wild Spirit off to a sluggish beginning, and it's Devin Rose up for a short lead, but there goes You, and it's You in front. Devin Rose second on the inside. Passing Shot is running third in the early going. She's got the beat as fourth, and Jerry Bailey is guiding Wild Spirit well off the rail. Broke from post position number 1. She's about in the 5 path now. Then there's a break of another 6 lengths back to Nonsuch Bay. A 23 flat opening quarter for You. You, 2 lengths. Devin Rose is second, Passing Shot is third. And Wild Spirit in the clear on the far outside, running in fourth. She's got the beat just to her inside. 6 lengths back to Nonsuch Bay. The trailer with 5 furlongs to go. It's still You providing the pace. You the leader. But Devin Rose is on the chase. The half went in 45 and 4/5 seconds. Around the far turn. You still holding off Devin Rose. Passing Shot moving sweetly while third. And there goes Wild Spirit now. She's making a run. 3 furlongs from the line, but wide. And then she's got the beat. 5 lengths back to Nonsuch Bay, who's beginning to come alive. They're coming to the top of the stretch. You, Wild Spirit, Passing Shot. It'll be those 3 across the track as the field turns for home. She's got the beat, comes through on the inside of Devin Rose and Nonsuch Bay. Off the turn into the stretch. Jerry Bailey shakes up Wild Spirit, and they're on their way to the lead. It's Wild Spirit in front. And You, second now on the inside. Passing Shot is toiling third. They're coming down to the finish. And it's going to be Frankel 1-2. Wild Spirit wins a wide but successful journey today. You finishing second, and Passing Shot was third.
She broke a step slow, but she finished very well. Wild Spirit broke from the inside. She had mud caulks on. Maybe she didn't get as quick a grip as would have been expected with the caulks on under Jerry Bailey, but she settled down nicely, made a huge move, 5 or 6 wide on the top of the turn, and just kicked clear easily by 3.5 lengths, throttle down over stablemate You, with Passing Shot, who had pulled off the upset up here in Saratoga, getting the third spot in here. Passing Shot did pull off a bit of an upset over Wild Spirit here at Saratoga, but it does not look off of this effort like that kind of performance is going to happen again, as that did not appear to be anywhere close to Wild Spirit's very best. There was a bit of a cough or something going around through Bobby Frankel's barn towards the end of the meet at Saratoga. Perhaps Wild Spirit was affected by it, but she seems to be over whatever may have been ailing her with a very impressive performance here. The winner, Wild Spirit, is a 4-year-old dark bay or brown filly. She is a daughter of Husanet from Wild Princess by Wild Again. She was bred in Chile by Aras Sumaya, owned by the Sumaya stable, and trained by Bobby Frankel. Ridden to victory by Jerry Bailey, Wild Spirit covers the mile in a 16th at Belmont Park in 1:41 and 1. A pair of juvenile stakes on Sunday's card at Belmont Park, beginning with the Grade 1 Matron, $200,000 for 2-year-old fillies traveling a mile. Let's head down to Belmont now and the call of the Matron.
And they're off. Dazzler breaking sharply from the outside. Sisti's Pride, Lakoya is right there. Feline Story toward the inside. Marleybone was away in good order. Funny Honey right there in the thick of it too. And then Stand on Top, and the early trailer will be Charming Humor. Racing up the backstretch. Lakoya on the inside, Dazzler on the outside. Sisti's Pride in between them and not far behind. It's Feline Story right up there running fourth. The opening quarter in 22 and 2/5 seconds. Marleybone is fifth, only 2.5 lengths from the lead. Funny Honey on the outside is rating sixth. And then farther back, Stand on Top is tailing off about 6 or 7 lengths from the lead. It's another 6 or 7 back to Charming Humor. The field moving into the far turn. Lakoya, Dazzler, Sisley's Pride across the track. The 3 of them head to head with a half mile remaining. And the opening half went in 45 and 1/5 seconds. Marleybone's in a good spot, poised on the outside, running fourth. Feline Story in behind a wall of horses, effectively pinned down by Marleybone for the moment. A break of another 5 to a retreating Funny Honey. Then Charming Humor coming through on the inside of Stand on Top. 3 abreast as they come to the quarter pole. Lakoya, Sisti's Pride, Dazzler on the outside. Feline Story still in behind them. Marleybone swings into action on the far outside. They're off the turn and into the stretch, and it is Lakoya digging down deep. Marleybone to the attack with a furlong to go. LaCoya on the inside, trying to hold off the oncoming Marleybone. It's down to those two, Marleybone and LaCoya. Nip and tuck, there's nothing between these two fillies. It's going to be desperately close. Here's the wire. Photo finish. Marleybone and LaCoya, a nostril apart at the end. Dazzler finished third.
Marylebone picking up a victory off an impressive maiden win at Saratoga, in which she snuck through on the inside to get the win there that day. Here, fights hard once again, digging in, this time 4 wide, getting the nose win over stablemate LaCoya, as Todd Pletcher, one of a number of trainers on this weekend's program, to run 1-2 in major stakes. LaCoya, who was a little disappointing up at Saratoga in her last start, reinvents herself, finishing a much better second here. Dazzler, who was a surprising third last time at Saratoga, finishes a rather surprising to some at 5-1 third here. And Feline Story, the favorite in the field, kind of a wide betting arrangement here, not a heavy favorite by any stretch of the imagination, about 5-2 on Feline Story, and she has to settle for fourth after hustling along, chasing the pace inside. The winner of the Matron, Marleybone, is a Grayer-Roan 2-year-old daughter of Unbridled Song from Desert Queen by Wavering Monarch, bred in Kentucky by Runnymede, Catesby Clay, and Catesby Clay Jr., owned by Michael Tabor and trained by Todd Pletcher, ridden to victory by Edgar Prado, who had a very good weekend both in New York and Kentucky. Matron winner Marleybone covers the flat mile at Belmont in 1:38 flat. One more stakes race to bring to you from Belmont, that of course the Futurity Grade 1 $200,000 flat mile, this time for the Colts and Geldings. Let's head back down to New York in the call of the Futurity.
And they're off. And Flushing Meadows breaks from the inside, and Cuvée breaks in stride with that one, so those two will be head-to-head early, but it's Flushing Meadows to be the early leader. Cuvée backs off just a bit to sit a length behind in second position. On the outside, Tabaki runs in third, and a well-held El Prado Rob is racing fourth. Value Plus came away fifth, but he's very unhurried at this point. John Velasquez rating Value Plus. Tumble Brutus was off last, trailing the field 6 lengths from the lead. David Flores keeps Flushing Meadow well off the rail. Cuvée to his outside second on the backstretch run. First quarter, 23 seconds flat. Value Plus running on strongly, while third on the outside. Tabaki is now fourth. El Prado Rob is tailed off into fifth, and Tumble Brutus trying to take hold of the track. He's running awkwardly at the half-mile pole. The half goes in 45 2/5 seconds, and Cuvée comes up to grab a short lead. It's Cuvée in front round the far turn, but Value Plus looms to his outside second. Down to the inside, Flushing Meadows is third. A break of another 4 lengths back. Tabaki in a drive fourth. It's another half dozen to the other two as the field turns for home. And Cuvée is hand-ridden past the quarter pole. Value Plus is in an all-out drive second. Flushing Meadows third and tiring. Top of the stretch. And Cuvée just keeps on going. Cuvée will stride past the 8th pole, opening up on Value Plus, and the others are just spread out behind a very impressive winner here. Cuvée and Jerry Bailey will just coast home to take the Futurity Stakes with style. They won by 7 dominating lengths over Value Plus. It was another 4 lengths back to El Prado Rob, who was third.
Cuvée, very impressive in victory here on the stretch out. Steve Asmussen obviously said there were some concerns about stretching this Carson City colt out, but he handled it very nicely. In fact, rated fairly kindly for Jerry Bailey as the pace was set by Flushing Meadows. Cuvée sat quietly off of him when he asked him to go, and he moved in tandem with Value Plus. He put Value Plus away. Now, Value Plus did get off to a little bit of a slow start in this field, but Cuvée was very impressive, drawing clear by 8, looking like he may have a little bit more distance in him before he decides he has had enough. But a very impressive performance by this colt, who has only lost once, that coming in the Bashford Manor, in which he was slammed into the rail at least twice in trying to make an inside move. We've seen him make outside moves since that time. The winner, Cuvée, is a 2-year-old chestnut son of Carson City from Christmas Star by Stardust Ascra, bred in Kentucky by Vern Winchell. He is owned by Ron Winchell and the Spendthrift Farm, trained by Steve Asmussen, ridden to victory by Jerry Bailey. Cuvée covers the flat mile at Belmont Park in the Grade 1 Futurity in 1 minute, 35 and 3. That wraps up a busy weekend's worth of stakes racing action. We hope you've enjoyed the program and will be able to join us again next week for Horses and Courses. Until then, I'm Jean Wood. Have a great week at the races.